everyone. Welcome to the North Noise Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Rising, and thanks for stopping back in. I know it's been a while since the last episode released, but got a lot of positive feedback on that, and I'm really looking forward to keeping on going with this. I guess what's been keeping me busy lately is a summer class that I'm making a short film in. If you don't know me at all, I am kind of sort of a filmmaker, like kind of screenwriter. So getting that through, and I'll make sure to share that with you guys in August if any of you are interested, if you want. Other than that, today we have a great episode, and it was really fun talking to these guys too. I sit down with Mark and Nic of the band Teenagers, and they just wrapped up their EP release tour, and it was fantastic. They're such inspiring guys to talk to. They have great stories to tell about some of their concerts that they've played, as well as just how they've pulled together as a band that's been through so much. They're just great guys to talk to, and I'm really excited to share the conversation with you. One thing that I would like to note is there was a glitch in the audio where half of my audio did get deleted upon further inspection, and I did not notice until I was editing it. So you might notice a weird change in my voice about halfway through, but other than that, it should be relatively unnoticeable. Hopefully you can't tell where that happens, but it shouldn't cause too much trouble. But without further ado, I'd like to give you my conversation with Mark and Nic of Teenagers. Why don't you guys just introduce yourselves?
I'm Mark.
I'm Nic.
I play lead vocals and rhythm guitar.
I play lead guitar and backing vocals.
No, you play lead guitar and rhythm vocals.
Rhythm vocals.
So one of the things I kind of want to start out with is, what are your guys' like personal histories and connections to the local music scene? Like, how did you get into it and get started? And like, what were some of the first shows that you remember seeing and doing?
I mean, I've played literally in central Wisconsin bands since I was 16. The first like real local show I went to was like a Break in the Storm, but the first time I ever actually got into the local scene, I went and saw Stray from the Path with our bassist's old band playing and a bunch of other crap. And just like, it was crazy, and I was like, this is what I got to do now. This is it. This is the thing. This is my thing. That's all I really got.
Yeah.
That's how I started. Like, it was just like Straight from the Path is super cool. They were a local band once. All right, I got this. And then I got that venue shut down because two 17-year-olds decided they wanted to get drunk and come to one of my shows, and they were assholes.
RIP.
R.I.P. VFW.
I grew up in a town called Manitowoc, which has gotten a lot of hype lately because of Stephen Avery.
Oh, right.
It's lame, but it is the town. But there was one place called The Attic when I was growing up, and I used to go to shows there all the time. And there were punk bands from Green Bay that came down a lot. Like Beach Patrol was my very first show. They're the first show that I ever, like, local band I ever saw. And they're still around, which is really cool, and still doing some shit. They're a really sweet power pop trio out of Green Bay.
You actually got to show me those things.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. I still jam like all of their old albums. But yeah, I just saw them play, and it's actually really poetic because their guitarist was one of the first left-handed guitarists I've ever seen play, and now I'm stuck as a lefty. But yeah, so I just went to that show, and then just started going to every single show I possibly could at that venue. I really fell in love with it, started to see a lot more different kinds of music there, and started to see that it was like, you know, playing in a rock band underground was a really cool thing, and kind of fell in love with the DIY ethic. Eventually started booking shows there. Did pretty well. And then when I moved up here, I started booking basement shows when I could, as soon as I could, because I was playing in a couple bands at the time. It was right after I joined Teenagers, and we started putting on shows in this very basement and then another basement, and it's been really fun. We're starting to close up that, and then I'm hopefully going to be moving into a venue pretty soon, but that's not sure yet, but we've been hooking up touring bands in our hometown, or at least I have since I was a kid, just like trying to help out. It's all about the DIY shit,
Ever tell
dude.
you about how I booked Molly's Worst Enemy's first tour date?
Yeah.
And they were all way too young and got way too fucked up.
That's basically about our involvement in the DIY scene in a nutshell, is just trying to be a part of the whole DIY touring ring, because it's something that is really hard to do, and it's really hard to find places to play in Wisconsin. And so we've tried to be a spot for bands that are at our level. So that's the short of our involvement in the local scene. It's been pretty active lately, just on the show front, because both Mark and I have been promoting since we were kids, and we never really stopped. Both Mark and I put on shows in Wausau Point all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to start this too, because everything in Wisconsin really is growing, especially, and I wanted to shine light on local talent and everything that's going on in the scene, because I think it's really important for these newer bands and bands that have been established here.
Oh, I agree. And it's something that hasn't been growing for very long. Like it was really a big thing for a while, especially in the central Wisconsin area, and then it kind of died off, and there was almost nothing going on in central Wisconsin. And then all of a sudden, just a bunch of guys started promoting again. There are a bunch of bands that started to do, similar things that we're doing, just they found a space and are trying to hook up shows for themselves and other people. And it's been beautiful to see it grow again. A couple really solid promotion companies from Wisconsin are starting to pop up and do really good shows really consistently. And that's just making me excited.
Like, shit, man. It's crazy because 3 years ago, central Wisconsin was like nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was literally like a couple teenagers playing bands, and then us, actual teenagers. And then, like 2 years ago, just everybody that used to be in bands was like, why don't we have one more go at it? And just started doing more, like, interesting stuff. And it stopped just being us for the longest time.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, a lot of great bands from our towns, Stevens Point and Wausau, are popping up, like
Beyond
Atlas and Constance, and I don't know, the guys from Through the Years, I think, are starting up again soon. Morning Veils just dropped their first demo. They're sick. It's Riggs' new band. Yeah,
that's my roommate's band too.
Yeah, he's helped out teenagers a lot.
He actually was our guitarist on our first tour because Nick broke his hand.
Nice.
The OG handbrake.
The OG handbrake.
Not the secondary. Not handbrake 2, electric boogaloo.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about Riggs and Dustin, can you just touch on like the member changes throughout the years as Teenagers has been a band and how that affected how you progressed in your sound?
We're going to touch on two topics today that you discussed, like Survive being a song, because that one is one of the 2 songs on that EP that I wrote personally.
Okay.
When we first started, it was me playing guitar, Al playing bass. We're the only 2 original members now. Julian was our drummer, Julian Russell. If I listed every band, we'd be here for an hour. And then Riggs. And we wrote, 5 or 6 songs. It was like Survive, Cope, Granted, Purpose, or not Purpose, sorry, that was you. Compare, and a couple other things that Julian threw together. But Survive is about how much I didn't like my life at the time that I was like started doing this, and about how honestly like dealing with my problems was secondary to either just ignoring them or pretty much wanting to off myself any given time. Don't do that, kids. But that's what that song's about. And it was basically like I wrote an entire song that was like, all right, this is pretty all right. And then I wrote one riff a week and a half later and scrapped the entire song and rewrote everything. Because I was just like, this is the riff. This is what the entire song has to build to. It has to be this one riff that's going to be really interesting. And that's the ending riff, obviously.
Right.
That just like is the only like really awesome, super heavy breakdown we have, really. The rest is all like super chordy, but that breakdown is heavy as balls because all I did was listen to Every Time I Die for like 3 months.
That's going to do it.
with how I started was just like I literally hadn't played guitar before at all until I started this band. Like I just was sick of everything that was happening in every previous project I had, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I wrote Compare literally in probably like 3 hours on not even my guitar, Taylor Gearing's guitar, who will never see this. But I wrote that song. Me and Riggs decided that we were going to start a band just out of nowhere. And then we talked to Al, and we were sure he was going to do it. And Julian was like, I'll be your drummer. And we thought he was lying to us for literally a month. I was like, but you're successful. Like, why would you want to do it with a bunch of noobs, dude? But that really helped us a lot. And we even changed in like the 3 to 4 month period that was, which went out the window as soon as the actual primary songwriter quit, which was Julian in the end. He quit because, well, at the moment we weren't playing that much. He wanted to start playing different styles of things, and he was going to be filling in on a Guardians tour and ended up actually just joining them on rhythm guitar.
Oh, wow.
And Riggs and I had a deep falling out for a short period of time because he quit really quickly without much notice shortly after, and I literally scrambled. I said, I'm done. I'm going to do vocals since I don't think I can trust anybody else at this point. And then I brought in, who was it? I brought in Tyler Wright, who's a friend of ours that doesn't play music very often. And then Morgan, who's our drummer now. And that was our start of coming back, which we played 2 awful shows that we all fucked up. It was all across the board, not dope. We weren't ready to be playing music yet, but we got a couple good show offers, and we were just like, okay, well, fuck it, we're going to try it. After 2 shows, we kicked Tyler out. Well, mutually, we really came to an agreement that Tyler wasn't going to play. And we picked up a guy named Zach Gaida, who was in our band for a year and a half. He played rhythm guitar until he was going to move back to Houston, which he didn't end up doing, but he still didn't want to play the music we were playing. He's into like that heavy bullshit. We're not heavy enough. And then one day, Nick looks me dead in the eyes, and he's like, so you're going to let me write lead parts for your album, right, when you guys record it? And I was like, so you're going to play lead parts on our album for the rest of my life, right? And he agreed. It's a blood pact. He has to do it now. So every album I have out ever in any band is going to feature Nick Gower.
I'm going to be honest. I was really fucked up when I did that, and I for a while thought I would regret it one day, but I haven't yet. So it's going all right.
Speaking of Nick on the guitar, can you talk a little bit about your hand injury and how that's affected your guitar playing?
So, I can't play guitar regularly now. So basically what happened was I fucked up at work one night and severed 2 of my tendons in my playing hand. Just graduated with a guitar performance degree. And I was really lucky because I didn't completely sever either of the tendons that I damaged, and I was able to go back go into surgery, completely workers' comp and everything, take some time off work and really heal up. And so I did that and took the time and got my hand back to where I could play guitar again. And this was the injury happened at the end of last February, 2015. And then I was able to heal up and play again around this time last year, around early June 2015 is when I was able to play regular again after that first injury. And we did a couple tours. We did a lot of shows. I was doing some freelance work. I was teaching a little bit, doing a lot of playing, and also still working at the same restaurant that injury happened. And one day I was practicing and my hand just started to give out again, and it kind of just fucking went numb and started to hurt if I started to overuse it, and went back to the doctor and found out that my hand's basically never going to be able to push. I'm never going to be able to push my hand past the point where I had without getting that injury again. And so, it was just really inflamed and sore, but it was causing it to not function the proper way, and guitar was always going to cause that. So I kind of had to make a choice pretty recently about if I wanted to, actually pursue what I had just gotten a degree in, and, what I've really fallen in love and what I've been doing with my life since I was a kid, or start over and do something different. And I decided that even though relearning guitar would be a complete challenge and really a huge roadblock for everyone involved in the band. It's the best option for me, and it's been working pretty well. After a week and a half of really grinding and getting a nice, sweet lefty Telecaster, we just practiced, and I was able to play the whole set. Some of the leads didn't come out quite right, but I still have another week and a half, I think, before tour. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm going to play how it plays, but I'm not going to stop. Like, I just can't.
Right.
I just can't stop.
That's awesome that you're persevering through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or completely reevaluate my life, and I'm not ready to do that. I was really happy, like I love doing it. I love my band. I love teaching guitar. I really want to get back into that. I just joined a professional big band right before this happened. I just started working or playing with them, and I was really happy with that, really excited about that. And then I was like a week before the injury flared up again. But yeah, no, it's been weird. It's been definitely a challenge, but the support that I've been getting from my friends and family has just been incredible. Like, random people that I barely know have just messaged me and like contacted me and reached out and just like, hey, I really respect what you're doing. Keep it up. And like that in itself has just been enough motivation for me to just pick up the guitar every time I'm sitting by myself, which has been the only way to do it.
Awesome. So, well, I guess not awesome, but good that you're getting back into things.
Yeah, I mean, I've just had such a wonderful like net of support underneath all of it. I have a great girlfriend I live with. These bandmates have been great. They let me do, when it first flared up, we didn't drop any of our shows. I just switched over to vocals. Mark just lets me take over vocals whenever, and I can do lead vocals. I'm not great, not as good as Mark. But it's interesting. I sing most of the set when I do lead vocals, and we basically become a pop punk band, and I really like that. But yeah, so we just kind of do what we do, and it's the theme of the whole band is just pushing forward and persevering no matter what happens, because throughout the history of the band, it's just been random unforeseen roadblock after random unforeseen roadblock. And it's
right.
In all honesty, half the time we're more of a collective than we are an actual band.
Yeah.
We had Corey play lead guitar. Like, we've had more members than I even managed to state, just because there's just random people that have been like, yeah, sure, I'll learn the parts. Yeah, sure, I'll come on tour with you. I got nothing better to do. Fuck my job. There was literally all the time.
There was one show we played in Chicago where Mark couldn't make it. He couldn't get off of work. And so we called up Riggs, and we played a set where Riggs filled in on vocals, and then I played guitar, and then it was just the four-piece. No, it was just the four-piece. It was like OG Teenagers for a minute, except without Mark, which was weird. And without Julian, too. Another time, Mark couldn't get off work, so I did lead vocals, Dustin played guitar, and that was the only guitarist we had was Dustin. That was right before we went on tour.
Through the years,
yeah,
and
through the years
Shallow
and all
Graves.
that. Yeah, so like, this band is, I don't think we've ever dropped a show. I think we just always find someone else. Like, we've had friends filling on bass before. We've had, when Zach was in the band, he played bass a couple times, and then I just played guitar. But we've never had a fill-in drummer. Ever since Morgan has joined he has been at every single show. He's the only one.
Holy shit, that's true.
It's true. He's the only one.
Technically played more teenager shows than I have.
Yes. It's crazy.
No, not true, actually. Because I've only missed 2, and I've played 10 more than everybody else. I did a count one day. I got bored.
So you guys released This Is All Blind to the People You Love in March. And yeah. I'm kind of wondering, what were your biggest influences for the sound of that album? And did you both take on writing lyrics, or Mark, did you take the lead on that? And what did you draw from for that lyrical content?
We're going to start with the album title. You know this place probably because you're from near Oshkosh, right? You're from Appleton, right?
Right.
OG Appleton area. But so there's this place called the Reptile Palace, and I have only ever played there once, and we are not a bar band by any means. That place was really nice, but like melodic hardcore doesn't go well when people are looking to hear As I Lay Dying and Slayer. Like, I mean, I'm
Right.
not gonna go Slayer. Anyways, so This Is All Blind to the People You Love was literally written in the bathroom of the Reptile Palace in like huge yellow Sharpie, like gigantic. I took a picture of it and I was like, fuck any other ideas we had for the title of our first EP or record. This is gonna be it. They're just like, sure, whatever. You make the decisions. You're the leader, I guess.
You just name things.
Yeah, I just name things. I'm like Lewis and Clark.
Yeah.
Box.
But yeah, so basically Mark is the lyric guy.
Yeah,
and then
Cope was technically written by me and Riggs, and so was Survive.
Yeah, but ever since, even then, looking back to when Riggs was the vocalist and Mark wasn't, Mark was still writing a lot of the vocals. Riggs was helping too, but Mark was still writing all of the lyrics. So now that he's the vocalist, he just writes it all. He writes all my lines and stuff. He let me take. We're working on a new record right now, and he let me take a couple songs. Starting to move away from that, and starting to move as more of a collaborative writing process. Overall, especially instrumentally, because instrumentally I wrote almost everything on the record.
Yeah, literally
completely.
Cope and Survive are the only things I wrote.
Yeah,
and Survive was super more than me. So Morgan wrote it really.
Mm-hmm.
Because Morgan just took all the ideas I had and went, all of these are out of key, you know nothing, I'm going to fix it.
And he did, and it's
that's
awesome.
Exactly what happened.
But yeah, so Morgan is also a really good creative mind. We've been trying to take more advantage of his ideas and, let him write his own riffs and stuff, and he has been on the new stuff. But as far as the EP we just put out, it was mostly a collaborative effort between Mark and I, me writing instruments and then him writing all the lyrics. And so instrumentally for me, like all the influence that I needed was Such Gold.
Yeah,
like right. I love Such Gold. I listened to a lot of Rage Against the Machine and Stray from the Path as well, so a lot of that came out in some riffs. But like I just love the guitar work of Such Gold, and I've always thought that this band benefits from that influence a lot. It's cool. It fits under Mark's voice really well, and it's fun to play. Like that's the main thing. That's the other thing that I tried to influence the record a lot, is every single riff is fun to play. So like relearning this whole guitar thing is really awesome, because like once I'm able to get the riffs down, I just want to keep playing them over and over and over again, because they're so much fun to play.
Some kid made me send him the tabs for our record the other day.
That's cool. I didn't know that. If you want tabs for a record, ask us. We'll send it to you. It's awesome. It's really fun to play. It's really easy. I can relearn it in a week. Switched over guitar. Anyone can learn it. It's cool.
That's awesome. So, Mark, would you say that when you write lyrics that you base them off of personal experiences more so, or that you kind of get in a mindset before you start writing them?
Every song on this record is extremely personal. Every single, lyrically, I was really in a really bad place for a long time. I found out I have problems that literally won't go away, that I'll just kind of be a little fucked up forever. And I had to learn how to deal with that. And the way I learned how to deal with that was by just writing down all my thoughts and trying to think of rhyme schemes. This band started out of necessity. It did not start because I was like, oh, I want to be in a band still after my last band broke up. This band started because when I was like 19 years old, every one of the people that I had played music with for the past 3 years wanted to move to Colorado to start a brand new thing. And I'm not going to judge them. Starting a new chapter of your life is never something that you should ever think you have to tell somebody. Like, you should never have to convince somebody that you have to start a new chapter in your life. And it was really hard to deal with, literally my whole support system deciding that they're going to uproot. And then literally the next day I got broken up with. We got after 3 years of relationship, got broken up with, and had to figure out where I had to go from there. One day you have to look around and just stare at the walls and go, well, if this is all I have, then what do I have to work with? I wrote Cope about Merrill, Wisconsin, about how it's frustrating to be from a place that absolutely no one will ever tell you is a good place to be from, even though you love it. You love being there every day of your life. Like, I still live in Merrill to this day, and I probably will have a house there for the rest of my life. I don't really care. And then Survive was about just looking at everything and realizing you hate it, and the only way to deal with it is to keep moving. And just, even if you're mad and you're upset and you hate your life, you can just look at everything and go, you know what, despite every single second of this being the worst possible situation, I'm going to do what I want to do in spite of everybody. Because that's mostly what that song was about, was fuck everybody, I'm going to do me.
Rap you lyrics. Do you, Mark.
Rap lyrics.
So it seems that like Cope is a really personal song to you. Like, you can just tell from the way that the vocals are performed that you're so into it. Would you say that it's a song that you kind of hold higher than the others and that you have a more personal connection to than any other ones?
Well, I mean, I don't think Cope will ever be more personal than it was the first time we ever played it, because it was a long year that culminated in just playing a set with 4 people that I had loved for the past year and just been like slowly growing into a brotherhood with. And like our first show, I cried my eyes out at the end of Cope. Like, I had to hold those notes and I couldn't handle staring at the crowd.
But Mark cries a lot at the end of Cope. Like,
yeah, no,
it's a pretty often thing. Like, it's pretty obvious that Cope is a really personal song for Mark. It's pretty cool.
It's about a lot of things. It's about living in a town that's completely ravaged by drugs and watching a lot of people that I grew up with become addicted to meth or heroin. But the thing about it is a lot of the young people I met that got addicted to those things, like, got out.
That's awesome.
They fixed themselves all by themselves with no one's help. So many people from Merrill didn't have a chance to go to rehab, didn't have a chance to do any of these things, but they just looked themselves in the mirror and stopped. And it's crazy when you think about that, like how many people have those problems, and like just so many people I know got out by themselves, and it's crazy to me. But it's my favorite song that we have. Yeah, well, not it's a favorite song that we play. I'll put it that way. Our new stuff's better. But I have to end the story about the first time we ever played it live. So I'm bawling my eyes out trying to like end the song, because it's literally like as soon as we hit the bam, like the ending part, it just floodgates open, and I'm like, eyes are burning, and I'm like, wow. Part of me is just like really sad, but the other parts wish I would stop crying right now so my eyes would hurt less. But I'm sitting there and we're done with our set, and like Riggs just goes, "Thank you, we are teenagers," and drops the mic, and you could fucking hear a fly fart in that room. It was so quiet until one person goes, "Wait, does that mean they're done?" And it was whispered. It wasn't even like loud, and you could still hear it throughout the entire room, because the entire room's just sitting there staring at us like, what? Why? What just happened? Like, we still don't know if it was a good thing that everyone shut up or if it was a really bad thing, because it was super weird. That's the strangest moment I've ever had on stage, hands down. Other than our drummer almost dying of heat stroke once in Missouri.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
So, on your EP, you guys live tracked it. Do you want to talk about the process about that a little bit?
Yeah, and we did that on purpose. We recorded with a really great engineer, Shane. I never know how to pronounce his last name. Hochletter. I think it is Hochletter or Hochletter. Of House Street Recordings in Bayview. And he just has a great big room, and we live tracked everything but the vocals.
And then the lead guitar.
Yeah, we overdubbed the lead guitar as well. But yeah, we love the raw feel of it for first EP, and we really wanted to just get something that was accurate out. And, it didn't really care about perfection. We just wanted an accurate portrayal of our band. And that's exactly what we got, and I couldn't be happier with it. Next one, we're going to try and make it a little bit more polished. We finally convinced Morgan to, do more, do more sample drums instead of the regular hits and stuff. And that'll just even out the sound a lot. And like we included some of them, but not really. Like, we didn't track any of it, like, part by part. We're going to try that next time. But it was, I don't know. I love that record. I listen to it a lot. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, you can tell that when you are performing it on the album that it just has this raw feeling that is just incredible when you listen to it, and it just captures your guys' emotions so well.
I think so, and that's why I think it works so well for us, is because we're more of an emo punk band than a melodic hardcore band. Like, that's always the way I've looked at us, and that's always the way I've felt. And so I just felt like it was more accurate for what we are as a band.
Right.
Yeah, I can take that. I mean, the other thing about it being raw is not only was it live tracked, but it was literally, we took, 2 days?
Yeah, we had 3 days blocked out, but we ended up tracking the whole thing in one day, one long session. And then I think the second day we went back and redid a couple parts.
We redid parts and then we did vocals.
And then we did all the vocals and basically one taked almost all the leads and all the lead vocals and everything. It was a really quick day. I think 18 hours total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 hours of recording.
And mixing.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, we sat. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 hours of mixing. Yeah, and Mark fell asleep right away.
Nap time.
It's crazy. I know, Mark, you touched briefly on new music. So how long is that going to be before it comes out?
Slightly longer now that I have to relearn guitar. Because we were working on it before my injury acted up. But we have a couple demos pretty set. We're going to be debuting one of the new songs on tour, even with my hand being funky. So that's really cool and really exciting.
Yeah, it's called Wisp. It'll be really nice.
Yeah.
This is the only song that I can say that I've written outside of my own personal experiences, because I watch too much TV. Let's just put it that way. I was unemployed for a month, and I just downloaded a lot of random television shows and just started writing songs about them. We're not going to state what kind of television shows they were, but just know that I'm a weird person.
Lots of anime.
Lots of anime.
But yeah, no, I think that's a pretty common theme with the whole record, though, is just us pushing what we are, pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone a little bit. Because, like I said, with the record we just put out, instrumentally, it was a lot of my writing. And so now I'm trying to have Morgan included on 100% of the instrumental writing. And then Mark's also letting me help out with some of the lyric writings. Not necessarily sharing songs, but, he's letting me, one of the songs I'm going to be doing lead vocals on, and I wrote it all. And that's going to be really cool. Morgan wants to start doing vocals, hopefully.
We pretty much want to be the anti-heavy Code Orange.
Yeah. I mean, we are going a little bit heavier with it, but we're also, we're going to keep the kind of the two aspects of our sound, where we have some songs that are completely heavy and some songs completely melodic, and then some songs in between. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of new stuff, a lot of new techniques and ideas, and it's cool. It's turning out really cool. It's some of the best stuff that I've ever been working on, and I can say that proudly. That's cool.
That's awesome. So you're thinking later this year or next year, or what's the plan, do you think?
We were hoping to get it out by the end of this year, but that was before the hand injury, so we're not really sure when it's going to come out.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe we'll two-part it.
Yeah, maybe we'll two-part it. Maybe we'll find someone to do it, to put these songs on a split. But, we do have a decent amount of songs backlogged. We're not sure what's going to happen with them, but we're slowly starting to learn them and actually play them pretty well. So new music's on the way. We're just not sure when.
We promise it will take 4 years.
Well, we're looking forward to it. So, Mark, you mentioned one of your favorite songs to play and that you've written was Cope. Nick, what would you say is one of your favorite songs that you've written?
I really like Purpose, because my favorite thing that anyone has ever said to me about teenagers was one time after we played, the drummer of a band we played with walked up to me and said, "Dude, you guys had that one riff. Holy shit." And then that was it. He just loved that one, the riff of Purpose. And he pointed that out and stuff. And it was it's just that riff, dude. I love playing that riff live. I love moving with it. It's so much fun. The one middle riff.
That's great. So what would you guys say is one of your favorite local, Wisconsin, Minnesota venues that you've played?
I'm partial to the basement venue. The two that we've really been working on, the hospital and the Veggie House. The hospital's gone now, RIP. But I love playing Veggie House shows. I love hosting Veggie House shows. But if we had to pick something other than that, I know all of us love Stephen Harm and all of us love the Warehouse in La Crosse. We've played there since I've been in Teenagers. We've played there 8 times, so that's 8 times in 2 years.
Wow.
And every time we play there, it's great. We play with some of the best bands we've ever played with there. The sound's always great. Kids come out most of the time. It's always fun, and I love seeing Steve.
Nice. What about you, Mark?
I love the Warehouse.
Yeah, we all love the Warehouse. I know
that was already my predetermined
Yeah.
place to discuss was Stephen Harm in the Warehouse, even though he probably hates us a little bit.
No, he told me he hates us a little bit, but that's okay. As long as it's just a little bit,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
all
not
right
full
with it.
hate.
I called him a dog in a hat on his birthday, and I think that offended him a little bit. But
So that was kind of all I had really prepared for the conversation. Do you guys have anything that you want to promote? Tell us where to get your music, where we can kind of find you online, or just do any of that sort of thing?
Download our record for free on teenagershardcore.bandcamp.com. If you want to buy a physical copy of our record, they'll be $5. Also on teenagershardcore.bandcamp.com.
we also have merch on our Bandcamp. We're gonna be putting up tour leftovers. We have some cool shit. Yeah. Other than that, we're just gonna be playing some local shows this summer and giving myself some time to get my chops back up and for us to work on a new record. So I don't know.
Oh, the last thing we have to plug, Fender guitars are awesome. We all play Fender everything except for Al's cab.
Yeah, Fender. We all have Fender amps and Fender instruments. Please sponsor us, Fender. We need money.
We really need money.
There we go.
So do you guys have Facebook or Twitter that you want to promote too?
Oh, Facebook Teenagers Hardcore, Twitter /Teenagers HXC, Instagram Teenagers HXC, right?
Yep, think so.
Reverb Nation.
Don't go on a Reverb Nation.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's
on
nothing
there.
on it. It just exists. If you want to look at it, I think there's a really old
You want to see
show.
something that hasn't been updated since 2012? Go on Reverb Nation.
Well, thank you guys for doing this. It was great talking to you. I'll try and get you a call back once you guys have more new music. I'd love to talk to you again once that happens.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Hit us up, dude. We'll talk to you whenever, even if it doesn't get recorded.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again.
No problem. Thank you.
As I said, they're super cool guys, and their stories just are really inspiring to hear how they've persevered through every obstacle that's come their way, and they're still out there making music and having a blast doing it. So, as they said, you can go to their Bandcamp and download their EP. This is all blind to the people you love, and that's completely free. Pay what you want. If you really enjoy their music, support those guys because they definitely deserve it. And other than that, if you would like to see Teenagers play live, their next show is at the Metal Grill in Cudahy, Wisconsin on July 16th for the Hometown Throwdown, and that's the second day of the event. And it is just a stacked roster. It's crazy how many bands are on this. I can't even name all of them, but you should definitely go and check that out and support that show. Every band from Wisconsin, and just a great atmosphere with great people. If you're in a band or you know anybody that's in a band that would be interested in taking part of the podcast, you can send an email to northnoisepod@gmail.com, and you can also message on Facebook. Facebook is facebook.com/northnoisepod, and you can give us a like, interact. I'm promoting shows there. I'm also promoting bands that are really cool and that you should check out. You can also follow me on Twitter. Twitter's a little more inactive at the moment, but I'm going to be stepping up my game on that, and that's at North Noise Pod. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's where all these podcasts are presently going. I'm still working again on podcast websites and iTunes, so hopefully that will happen sooner than later. I'm doing what I can with what I can afford. So as per tradition, I like to play a song from the band that we just talked to. So here's the song Hold It In off of This Is Blind to All the People You Love by Teenagers. Thanks.
everything to me. If I could never find contentment or any other sense